Welcome everyone to this session on AWS Python Masterclass. Today we are talking on the Amazon Web Services command line interface. My name is Swapnil and today's topic is why command line is important and how to install it. We will also look at some practical examples that are useful for DevOps and cloud professionals. Here, what we will cover today. First, we will understand what AWS CLI is, then why we should use it instead of relying on the AWS console. We will see how it will help us automate tasks with the script. I'll show you a live installation demo and how to verify that. So AWS CLI is a simple yet powerful command line tool that lets us manage AWS services directly from the terminal. Instead of clicking through the AWS console, we can run command to create a resources, configure services, or check logs. Why to use it? Because it is faster, scriptable, and perfect for automation. For example, imagine you need to create 10 S3 buckets. Doing that in the console means repeating the same steps 10 times. With AWS CLI, you can write a short script. This is why DevOps engineer and cloud admins love it. It reduces manual efforts and ensure consistency. The key takeaway here is that AWS CLI is not just a replacement for AWS console. It's a productivity booster. It gives you efficiency, automation, and control. If you are working in DevOps or managing cloud infrastructure, AWS CLI become your daily drive. Let's compare the AWS console and AWS CLI in short. The console is a point and click graphical user interface, good for beginners or one-time setup. The CLI uses text command and faster scriptable. Automation in the console is limited, while CLI support full scripting. Use cases: console for quick manual tasks, CLI for developer, admins, and automation pipeline. For example, creating an S3 bucket is the console in the console takes several clicks. In the CLI, it is just one command, and you can see the command here on the screen. That's the power of CLI. Now, let's take a look at the installation. AWS provide official documentation for CLI on a different operating system, and you can find that here. So here, the documentation already says what is the AWS command line interface, and all the information is written here. Okay, so we are going down and we'll see the section installing or updating to the latest version of the CLI. Now, if you scroll down, there are three operating systems that is primarily given here, that is Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. As we are showing this presentation on a Windows guest operating system, we will expand the Windows view. Okay, so there are two installation type. One is like you can download the MSI file from this link and you can double click and install it. Otherwise, you can use the command line interface and you can install that. Okay, so there are two commands here. It will give you the executable, and it will give you the prompt to click on the setup installer, like click on the next button, finish button. But here, this is a silent installer, so parameter given here, Q and N. So it will automatically install at the background the AWS command line setup. And once you're done with the installation, you just have to run the command AWS space hyphen hyphen version, and then it will show you the version what the installer you have installed. Okay, so let me begin with this. Let me download this. You can see here we are getting the next button, and when we click that, we have to just accept the license agreement, and we just have to click the next button. It will give you what selection. Here currently it is one, and we'll click on the next, and then the final icon will be installed button. Okay, so let me cancel this one. Let me try to go with the command prompt. Okay, so I copied this command. Let me open the PowerShell, run as an admin. Okay, and then I'll give this command and I'll hit the enter. And you can see here the installation has begun, and it is asking us the same setup to install that. Again, we are clicking on the next, accept the license agreement, and then next, and then it will install that. Correct? We've seen that in a manual installation. Now I'll quick this setup. I'll exit this setup. Okay. And then I'll go with the second command, which is a silent installer. Okay. So I'll copy this command. I'll again paste it and then I'll hit enter. And then you can see it is not giving us any prompt because it is silently installing AWS CLI. Now, how can we verify that, right? We just have to go to run app viz, and here the installer will appear as the AWS command line interface, and we'll wait for some time. And here you can see AWS command line interface has been appeared. Okay, so let me close the PowerShell because it is just now installed. So let me reopen it again, and we'll give the command AWS hyphen version. And you can see here, as per the documentation provided by the AWS, it is giving the same line with the current version that is installed on our computer. In the last video, we learned how to create a new user in the AWS console and save their credential locally using the AWS configure command that give a single default profile to work with. In the next video, we are going to take this step further and by creating a multiple AWS profile. This is extremely useful when you are working on a different projects or environment. For example, one profile for development, another for production, or even separate profiles for different client account. By setting up multiple profiles, you can switch between them easily without overwriting credential or touching other projects. It is great way to stay organized and multitask effectively in DevOps and cloud work. Stay tuned. We will explore how to configure multiple profiles, how to use them in the commands, and why this approach make managing multiple AWS environment much similar.